was Gavilar and Strut.
The brother, the father, and I all met in the station, and the police led us out to the property. We pulled up into the yard, and the police chief drove on. And that's when I really realized that he wasn't going to come in with us. This guy came out, and it was extremely obvious that he was very deeply involved. The brother just kept saying, "Keep me away from this guy. Just keep me away from this guy." He struck us as a child molester type, just a really creepy kind of guy. So I said, "We've come to pick up 1 or 2 horses. Where are they?" At the time, I thought, I can't think through this right now. So I just turned on my internal camera, my head cam. What does that look like? And what's this barn look like? And what's this area look like? He kept saying, "I'm all torn up over this. I'm just all torn up over this." And it was just so not real. And then he pointed to the ceiling, and there was a kind of a rope thing with a small noose looking thing at the end of this rope. And he said this is where he would work the horse. And I thought, well, what do you mean? Work a horse?
That rope is a training tool. It's called a high tie. And what he'd do is he'd tie the horse lead rope to that. And the horse could go around in the pen, but he couldn't get out. He was teaching himself how to ride.
Stallions can be very dangerous. We didn't know what his interaction had been with humans. I just spoke quietly to him. I probably said things like, "Oh, you're a pretty boy. It's a beautiful day."
Well, my impression of Jenny is that she doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to a horse. Period. She comes across as being a person that knows everything there is about horses, but to me, she doesn't know anything about them at all. Even her husband doesn't know how to handle a horse.
I didn't realize until we got there that he owned 2 horses. So I started asking questions about the other horse. What's the status of Strut? And he said, well, I own that horse. He gave that horse to me. And I said, well, show me your bill of sale. And he goes, well, I don't have that. And I said, well, you need a bill of sale. And then about that time, this guy shows up in a little truck.
person that bought Strut is a friend of mine. And that was a bill of sale and everything was there. I don't think even if I didn't have the paperwork, I was gonna let her take that horse.
But then a weird thing happened. This little Minnie came up and got up under and started giving the stallion a blowjob. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen, ever.
I didn't get home until much, much later that evening and hadn't really paid too much attention to Mr. Hands. We did acknowledge each other's existence.
I had to leave. My boss was out of town, and I was taking care of his horses at his place. It was around 10, 11 o'clock, and usually I feed them at 8 o'clock. I went over there, I'd been drinking. I was hungry, so I ate something. Well, that was my downfall, because as soon as I eat, I just pass out.
Something bad happened out there. I don't think Mr. Hands knew this particular animal very much. And I don't think the gentleman that was with him was really attuned to that animal as well.
It wasn't until around 5:15, 5:20 in the morning that he made the announcement that he needed to go to the hospital right away. If I had just the slightest inclination that something was wrong, he would have ended up in the hospital immediately.
He could have been out in the barn with his horse. He could have been out there with my horse. I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he wasn't. Like I said, I was not there.
Please don't let this happen. And then I noticed that his lips were changing color.
Sir? Sir? I'm not getting a pulse.